And of course, with a physical collection, there's always a bit of personal pride showing off your collection because I have a pretty decent movie selection, and I know you do too, B. And
Yeah.
um, I like showing off all my stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you've got this film, and everything like that. And it's kind of cool being able to hold something in your hands and read the little synopsis, and even if it's not really that big of a deal, it's still kind of cool to actually have that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at this point, really, it's up to collectors and people who are fans to really preserve this sort of stuff. Because you can still find stuff like at conventions or TV shows that are they haven't been collected on box sets or things like that. So I mean,
Yeah, where's my 8 is Enough Blu-ray box set?
You're the only one clamoring for that one.
Eight meg is enough.
Yes, 8 meg is enough.
8 GB. But
you were talking just now though about the preservation and having physical copies, and you and I were talking recently how there's some services that will privately, bring stuff to DVD and Blu-ray that's hasn't been
out
released.
of print.
Yeah,
and I actually did find a company that did have Moonwalker and Electric Dreams on DVD. I mean, they got like studio copies through whatever means, and you can buy it through this site, and you can find out of print copies of movies and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool because it's like a bunch of stuff from like the 20s and 30s, and obviously, unless you're like just a big film buff, you're
right.
A lot of younger people probably won't be looking into that stuff as actively unless they're majoring in film.
Yeah, you'll see some of those vendors at the comic book and anime conventions. They'll have a booth where they're selling a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And stuff like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, which
oh yeah,
Baltimore up there did a review recently on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have two questions for everybody.
Sure.
First question is, what was your most expensive late fee rate? Like the most expensive late fee that you had? And the second question is, what was your very first rental from any movie store?
Oh.
I'll go first since y'all are thinking. I think my most expensive late fee was probably $50-something, and it was on... and it was through no fault of my own. I thought I actually returned it, and then I'm like going through things, and I see, there's the VHS. I'm like, oh crap! And I meekishly return it, and I'm like, you can't rent anything. I was like, gotta wait and pay that off. It was not fun. But I think the first thing I ever rented was either one of the He-Man, Masters of the Universe cartoons collections, or one of the Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck collections.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just remembered there was another video store because I was trying to remember one of my first rental experiences. In the Gibson's parking lot where the tobacco station is now, used to be a video store there, and I remember Pippi Longstocking. It was probably one of my first. That's one of my earliest memories of renting, which probably led on to my obsession with redheads and stuff.
That would explain a lot.
I mean, it does explain a lot. I don't remember my most expensive late fee. It probably 20, 25, nothing crazy. What was crazy is if you lost your movie and you had to replace it, they wanted to charge you $99 plus sometimes to replace a VHS copy of a movie they had on sale there for like $19.99.
Oh yeah, because it was obscene. I remember movies like E.T. and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, like $99, and they would never go down for like the longest time. And finally, of course, they did, and now you can buy them like for less than 10.
Well, that was also, I guess, it was around the time when they didn't release everything to buy.
No.
Right.
Those
You
are two great examples right there.
You could only rent.
You could
Never
only
remembered
rent it.
that part.
Yeah.
And that $99 price was what the movie store was paying the distributor.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
But sometimes it was for a movie they were also selling, and they still wanted to charge you $99.
Right.
I just remember vividly going,
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah.
So $20 was probably roughly around the most expensive late fee I ever had, and it was mainly for a video game that I didn't want to return.
was it like an RPG?
And I was lazy to just, I was too lazy to go and re-rent it. I was just like, nah, I'll just keep it. And then first VHS that I ever, I can't really remember my first one, but I do remember renting Batman a little after 1980, after it came out in 1989. I remember making
if you rented it before, I'd be very impressed.
Oh, I know, right?
The time machine.
Making like a beeline to the video store when it came out to make sure I could rent it and watch it again. I remember
Oh, yeah. That was
and
the summer
then,
of Batmania.
oh yeah, and then I don't have it. I wish I would have grabbed it for the segment, because it just, when B asked about the most expensive late fee, this probably would be the most expensive late fee, because I still have a copy of The Hobbit, the animated movie, from a Blockbuster that was on Greenville Avenue in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
There anymore?
No, it's not there anymore. It was there for the longest time. It was one of the last Blockbusters to close. But I rented it while we were still at SMU in college, and I still have it. I never turned it in.
About after a week, you might as well just keep it, because at that point you're kind of just like, you might as well just go fugitive from the law, because at that point you pretty much like bought it anyway, and it's like,
right.
I might as well be hunted down. I didn't do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's funny, Danny. That's
really. I know I'm really bad that I've kept it all this time, and I think I still have it. I'll have to look. I don't know if I've thrown it away or not.
You can't throw that away. It belongs in a museum.
I know, it's got the Blockbuster thing on the tape on the side, the decal thing on the tape, and it's still in the plastic case and everything.
I know another friend who has a Blockbuster movie or two still left over. I won't throw him under the bus though, but you know who you are. And so do we, for that matter. So, a fun fact, actually, before I get into mine, as I said, I still have my old Blockbuster card from Cana. Guess what my number was, outside of the store number, which was 248157, if you must know. Guess what my number was, though?
3.
1975.
5.
69.
8.
8.
8. It is. I don't know if this will translate, but look at this.
Yep,
8.
Yep. 8.
You're the 8th person.
Because I was an employee. I don't know how that worked out. They had to have had more than 8 people, 7 people before me or whatever. But
that's funny.
So yeah, it's funny. Before I joined up with Blockbuster, I never really had my own membership of my own, because I was like 18, a goofy kid. I just lived off my parents' memberships. So I kept things maybe like a day or so, but my dad, being like uber responsible, would always have me take it back regardless, because he didn't want to pay the late fees. Otherwise, I'd hear about it. Like you, B, the first film I remember renting was a Masters of the Universe tape. Yeah, it was, I can't remember which one, but where I remember renting it, and this is another place because that was another thing about video stores. You didn't have to be a video store to be renting movies.
Right.
I rented that from Fullerton's grocery store.
Really? Nice.
When they converted that front area, because I remember that was next to the Gorf arcade machine, and it's like, because I remember they had like a bunch of Friday the 13th films there, because why not get your, when you're buying your Wonder Woman costumes, you can go get your Friday the 13th and videos.
Check out the other you'll get it.
But all kinds of magic happens at the grocery store.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, even grocery stores rented for the longest time. They were cool.
There is a little place in the dirt roads I grew up on. There was just a little general store, that just had your trailer.
Okay, well, it's close enough.
Right. But anyways, there's a little tiny general store that just had like bread and milk and eggs and just odds and ends and movie rentals.
Yeah, because that was like totally a thing for small towns. Because like every place, it's like
they had the little round tags with the number on them that they
Oh,
put on the
yes.
nail.
Oh,
You
I
put it on
remember
the nail.
those. Yeah, you hang it on the nail.
it's insane.
Oh,
And you'd have to grab the tag and go,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember those stores. I was there at a place that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
That's
there's-
nostalgia right there, man.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Old
and there's
school
still
take.
actually a couple video
Nails.
stores out there. Las Vegas had a place called Movies and Candy, and it's exactly what it sounded like. But it was a guy who had this obscene, like, tens of thousands of videos that he owned, and he decided to just open up a video rental store.
And was Candy the stripper that worked there?
Yes, Candy.
We're talking Vegas. I'm just
Vegas. It's
But
so
yeah,
expensive.
Vegas, baby. But I remembered, and I almost wanted to buy it, but I was terrified of the candy. They actually had like Alf candy, like back from the day, like still for sale. It was like $7 or $8, and I was like, I kind of want this, but this would also be suicide at some level. So, because
Yeah.
you know, I'd have to make. I've already licked Switch videos. You know, I'd have to eat this stupid 35-year-old candy.
But you imagine there's so much preservatives, and that they might actually still be okay.
Well, I think they.
I'm not testing
think
it.
that-
out.
Is it supposed to be furry like Alf? Was that?
Right.
I think at this point the
Part of the charm.
sugar or whatever that was that passed for it would probably just disintegrate upon moisture contact in your mouth.
And does it taste like cat because Alf ate cats?
I couldn't tell you. I decided that I liked my
It tastes like
internals. I
cat.
didn't want to go like full Holy Grail, choose poorly. But actually, a little bit local for Texas, Premiere Video still exists in
Yes.
Dallas off of Mockingbird, and crazy but true, they still rent out VHS tapes.
No, I
No
think
way.
I just read an article that they closed.
No,
Yeah.
Guy and I literally were just looking this up. Like what, a 3 or 4 weeks ago?
yeah, I went there last fall. It was like awesome because it had like VHS tapes to Blu-ray, and it's like again, all kinds of crazy stuff that you don't see anymore. I mean, you know, like they had, like in the kids section, they had like, you know, back when like the Disney Afternoon was still a thing, and like they do individual because like that was the thing. You didn't get box sets of like cartoons like you do now. It's like you get like an episode, and it
You
would
get like
cost as
3 or
much.
4 episodes on a VHS.
What
if
was
you
it?
were
Two,
lucky.
like
There
2
were some that
episodes?
weren't even that
3 or
generous.
4, depending
Yeah.
on.
You might get 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. D Magazine, Alex Macon with D Magazine back on May 26th wrote an article about it and said that there's still hope that Premiere Video will find a new home,
Oh, that sucks.
but it closed its doors last week. Tributes. I mean, people were like leaving flowers, I think, outside the thing and all that. I mean, because that's where who's the guy who directed Bottle Rocket that the Wilson brothers were with?
Wes.
I don't remember the director, but
Wes
Oh,
Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Wes
Wes
Anderson,
Anderson,
the
thank you.
director Wes Anderson. He would go. That was his place to go
Wow.
and
Yeah.
just.
Because it was like wall-to-wall movies. Literally, it was up to the ceiling. It was like one of the best video collections I think I've ever seen.
Yep.
And
incredible.
That just
Like,
makes me
oh,
sad. I don't want to talk
oh my God, this
anymore.
place still exists, and it still smells like old movies. Because you remember that? It's like that old, like, video stores had a certain smell to them. I don't
Yes.
know what it was, but it was just. It's like, man, you walk in there, it's like, wow, this is so awesome. And,
No, it was great. I mean, being right near SMU, it was.
oh, yeah.
That was the go-to place. It was so
Yeah.
so cool to be nearby.
Well, that sucks. Now I'm bummed out.
I know,
Yeah,
that's what
well,
I'm saying.
hopefully they found, or they're going to find a
Maybe, yeah.
or something. It's that article was just a couple, less than a month ago.
Yeah.
So
And there's-
hopefully,
What was your worst renting experience? You rented something you thought would be awesome, and then it turns out to be like, ugh. For me, I actually rented something at the library, and I thought, oh, I'm so excited. And I was probably like 7, 8, 9, and I rented Bad News Bears, and it was going to be animated. And I think for some reason I feel like the first intro was animated or some sort
It
of
probably
something.
was. That was an 80s trope animated
Yeah.
intros,
It
so.
turned into live action. I got so mad. I yelled. And I turned it up and I ran to my room. I was so upset. I was
oh wow.
My
disappointed.
Well, my experience wasn't as a rentor. My bad experiences was as a customer service representative, dealing with customers. I'll just two that stand out. One of them ended my movie rental career at Blockbuster. First one was lady comes in, and Blockbuster was notorious for not fixing their customer bathroom, and
that's right.
and we couldn't let customers in the back because there was product everywhere.
Right.
And there really was.
And so she's like, my daughter's feeling nauseous. And I was like, well, in my head, I'm like, well, why the hell did you drag her to a video store on a Friday night where there's lines all the way to the back? I asked her, I was like, well, maybe she could go outside and get some fresh air. It might make her feel better. You don't tell blah, blah, blah. I'm a successful businesswoman. I run things, and you don't talk to your customers that way. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm told I'm not allowed to bring people to the back. I was presenting a solution. She just went on a tirade. There was a line of customers all the way to the back of the store. Like I said, it was a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
She finally slammed whatever she was going to rent down and stormed off. And the line was just like breath of relief that she was gone, and someone pipes up and is like, she's going to hell, or and like, thank God she's gone. Which made me
there was the moment that the kid didn't make it. I remember that one time. It's just like, you're 18-year-old. It's like, why me? This isn't where I want to be with my life.
Right.
I think my worst experience, other than you get like, the occasional bad movie or whatever, you rent that one movie that it's like, oh, well, you get this movie that's like so popular, but you got your copy, so it's all good. You take it home and you open it up and it's something else. And of course, it's so popular that everything else under the sun is rented, so you can't possibly see that movie. I remember one time, it was an interesting summer, that summer I worked at Blockbuster, because every now and then we'd just kind of, young and ridiculous and kind of feeling ourselves. You remember that big, because, you had the drop slot in the wall in the store itself where you drop movies off, but you had that big storage bin. I think people would like run into it or steal it, or it disappeared after a while, because I think things happened to it. And I'm sure this story probably didn't help with that either. I remember one time we were just, it was one of those mood shifts. And so I went out there and I was getting movies and I saw someone pulling up. So I crawled inside the drop box. And so when they started putting like their movie in, I reached my hand through the slot, grabbed it, and took it from them, and they screamed.
Oh my God! Why did you not record this? That would have been awesome.
That was 1 year before my video camera, but yeah, it was just like, cause she's like reaching. I was like, just like yank it from her. And I'm like laughing inside the video bin.
That's just great customer service there. We're helping you.
I want to get great promotion
right
for Adam's
after,
family.
Because you that was another thing that happened. You'd be in that bin digging around, it'd be like hot, like 100 degrees and humid or whatever. And so like you'd be in there digging, and all of a sudden you'd be sitting there and bonk, and like something would crack you on the head, and there were a few times I didn't say some friendly things. You're sitting there, and of course they're in those plastic cases, which hurt like 80 times worse than just the simple case. But,
right, because they have edges.
Yeah, it was. Those days were fun.
What about you, Danny? Any bad experience getting something?
No, not that I can ever remember. Just maybe like every once in a while the wrong movie would be would be in the case. That was it. That's all I can remember. Because I was kind of lucky in that part. But guys, what was that? What was the other story?
Okay, so
what got you to quit?
To walk away?
Yeah, you walked away.
So this lady comes in, not even my customer. I'm, how Blockbuster, you'd walk in, you had the two separate areas.
But John, in the eyes of Blockbuster, they were all your customers.
Oh, guy.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
So I was sitting there, I was getting movies ready to put up, and one of my coworkers was over working with a woman who wanted to get a membership card, and he was being so nice to her. I mean, and not even like condescending nice, like honestly helping this woman and like trying to figure out ways, because he had to have 2 forms of ID.
Oh yeah.
And so he's like, well, trying to listing all the options. Like, well, do you have like a bill in your car or anything in your glove box? And no, all I have is this. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, we have we have to have 2 forms of ID. And she goes, and she had some kids with her, and she goes, they're just a bunch of jerks here. And come on, kids, bunch of assholes here. Not gonna, you can't get your movies tonight, because of them.
Oh wow.
And under my breath, I just kind of go, bitch. Well, apparently she heard
You're under the breath is different than everybody else is under the breath.
Right. So she leaves, and then in comes in her husband, and he's all, who in here called my wife B-word and stuff? And at first I was kind of denying it, but I was so fed up with dealing with customers like that. I just like, you know what, I did. And I walked over to him, and he came up to like here, and I'm like, we were doing everything to help your wife. Your wife is the one who acted out and made a scene here. I am sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but she was, and I'm sure you're used to that. and he's like, well,
wow.
But you don't talk to your customers that way. I'll have you fired. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with people like your wife. I quit. He's like, do you want to step outside and finish this conversation? He's like, no, you shouldn't talk. I was like, sir, are we done? And he kind of went out and
mosey on out.
Yeah, and like the managers were there. They're like, you don't have to quit. It was totally them. Like, you did nothing wrong. It's like, you really, please stay. It was like, and I was like, I'm done. I can't deal with these kind of people
You
anymore.
had that. You were like, right there.
Yeah. I mean, and
Well, that does explain why you didn't win the Employee of the Month that I was wondering, and now, well, I guess now I know, but
yeah. Well, that, and I was comfortable in my CSR position. I never strived for more. I didn't want the responsibility. I was like, I'm happy just putting up movies and suggesting movies and checking people out. I didn't want to have to do anything else. I was kind of content with that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my story that made me walk out of Blockbuster.
Wow.
And if you're out there and you're
well,
watching,
if you need a badge, I have 2. So
I just want to say,
guy.
guys, I just want to say, thanks to Corsicana for having so many different options for us to rent video games and movies, and just have those places to where then we created memories.
Yeah.
And we're very thankful for that. So I just want to give the Can a shout out there.
Yeah, I mean, so many
doing that.
memories. This 15-minute video is a 45-minute video.
Wow.
yeah. I'd like to. On Danny's note, I'd also like to say thank you to John Roberts of Movie Land, because he really brought just a really cool experience together, whether it was yogurt or Ninja Turtles or the place that my dad actually was able to get me a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2 for Christmas, because he sold games too.
Mm-hmm.
John brought a lot of really great experiences to Corsicana, and it was part of our community, and it was
really
just
was,
a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it still lives on in some ways, especially in stories like this. And another little throwback, there's a movie called The Dreaded, where Movie Land back in its early independent days makes a brief cameo.
Right.
Oh, and my sister's in it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Someday
she
we're gonna
is.
Someday we're gonna talk about that movie.
We
We're gonna
need
do
to
a
do-
review. We're gonna do a review.
Not only a review, we should do a live watch with us party.
That would be.
Oh yeah.
Do you
Get,
think your sis would be down for
get
that?
Jen on board.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
let's
we
do
need to
it.
make this happen.
Yeah, 'cause
wanna
I
s-
haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, and my mother's car's in it too.
Oh,
Your mother's
awesome.
car,
It's the blue Mercedes.
No, at least she
Oh,
was my English teacher. At Collins Middle School, she was in it.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking
Miss
about. She was my
McCandless?
drama teacher.
Karen
Oh.
something, or I can't remember. But she was an English teacher at Collins Middle School.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she
we'll
was in it.
definitely do a dreaded
Oh.
focused
Yeah.
video.
Definitely.
And I really think we should all sit down and watch it. Do maybe a live stream where people could jump in. We can't legally show it, but we can show you a place where you can start watching it with us and
Yes.
just follow along.
There is a place actually. I found it, and John and I were covering that. I was like, wow, I can't believe this whole thing's online.
Yeah.
There's a place.
It's funny. Corsicana has more movie history than you'd think.
Oh,
I know they're doing that movie Fat Ass Zombies right now, but the Corsicana movie history went back a lot longer than most people probably remember. But
Right.
that's the whole point of Cana Geeks.
Yeah,
That's right.
We're gonna Cana Geeks. We're gonna explore all the geekdom that this town has that you may not know or may not remember, or you may remember and cherish it,
Or misremember.
yeah, or mismember, yeah, or yeah, misremember. Is it?
These are our
mismember?
days of Stranger Things.
But not dismember.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different video.
That was another video.
All right,
Well, that's a good one.
All right, thanks guys.
Well, thanks for
Appreciate
tuning
it.
in.
it's
See you, man.
follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's at Total Geek Live. If you care to, we have a Patreon account. Big thanks to our Patreon supporter at the time.
Yes.
Thank you very
It
much.
might be more when this
Jennifer.
goes up, but
Thank you,
yeah,
Jennifer.
Jen.
Being our patron.
Feel
We
free to
appreciate it.
patronize us.
Yeah,
Yes.
feel free to patronize us.
That happens too. That's
Patreon.
that part's free.
Exactly.
Yes, it
YouTube
does.
YouTube
Yes, it
comments.
does.
You're such a good YouTube channel. You make such good videos.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right.
Good fun.
Peace
See you
out.
soon.
Bye.
Be gone.